Hi, everybody. I know this is totally random, but this video plagued me this entire week, and I decided to just sit down and do it, especially with the announcement of Amanda the Adventurer 3 coming out. This is a short little presentation kind of recapping what we know about Amanda and her friend, Wooly, and that's friend with air quotes, and our main character or our player character, Riley. There are going to be spoilers ahead and a discussion of child abuse. Child abuse, as in forcibly sucking a small child into a cartoon to live out the rest of her natural life. And yeah, I'm kind of just rambling here. Let's just start out with what is Amanda the Adventurer? Amanda the Adventurer was a video game originally produced for a game jam in 2022. It is made by Mango Maw Games and produced by Dread XP. The first full game came out in April 2023. Part 2 came out in October 2024, and Part 3 is coming out later this year in 2025. It is a three-part game series based on escape rooms, where you have to find clues, solve puzzles, and find new tapes to watch in your little tape player. The horror itself seems to be inspired by found footage and banned cartoon episode creepypastas. Amanda herself is very Dora the Explorer-esque. Uh, and you play as a character named Riley Park, who inherits their Aunt Kate's old house and inherits the task of figuring out what is up with these tapes that are of an old cartoon show called Amanda the Adventurer. Who you can see right here, this little girl. And the main characters of this video game series is Amanda. We're gonna go in more into detail about her and the other characters, but here's like a basic layout. Amanda is the star of the show, while Wooly is Amanda's nervous best friend. Riley is the player. We really don't know much about them. Then there is the entity, who is connected to Amanda somehow, and then there is Hamlin. And now let's go into a bit of a deeper dive. This is Amanda. Amanda in the show plays the role as a adventurous little girl who likes exploring, likes finding buried treasure, and just being social and excited for new opportunities. Except she is possessed or is the soul of a girl named Rebecca Colton, who has been there for a few decades by now. And this has given Amanda the tendency to become easily frustrated and certainly showing signs of depression. Most of her actions on a base level can be construed as creepy little girl who wants to just freak us out and wants to hurt us. But if you take a deeper look, you can see that these are the actions of a girl who has spent years inside this cartoon hellscape who just wants to get out and find her dad. And here is Wooly. I don't like Wooly. Wooly is supposed to be Amanda's best friend. He's shy, he's nervous, but he always goes along with what Amanda wants to do. However, you notice some things about him that are really off. He takes a bit of a manipulative quality. In one of the episodes, Amanda is feeling depressed, and so Wooly decides to tell her a story, which goes along with the puzzle to get the next tape. However, his story is a very basic prince saves the beautiful princess. Well, Amanda wants to hear a story about how the princess gets turned into a dragon, the knight kills her, and is horrified by the fact that he just killed his lady love. Wooly gets very frustrated and annoyed with us if we play along with what Amanda wants to do. And Amanda herself is very annoyed by Wooly. In one of the episodes, he comes into frames, and her first initial reaction is to attack him. The tape glitches, and the next round she says, "No, I don't want you here." And then by the third time, she's just going along with it because what else is she going to do? And yeah, we have no idea what Riley looks like, so we just have to stick him in here. The only real thing we know about Riley is that they are Kate Park's nibbling, possibly in their 20s or so. This is just a guess based off some headcanons. So, yeah. Yeah, they're just kind of here. They're just kind of having the worst night of their life. And finally, we have the entity. As far as we know, the entity is connected to Amanda somehow. At first, we assumed that the entity was Amanda, giving her a physical form that could attack us and kill us. In the first game, it would burst out from the attic door to kill us. In the second game, it is shown that the entity seems to be more protective over Amanda, not being exactly her, but being connected nevertheless. In the same storybook episode I mentioned with Loli, the entity tries to attack Riley, only for Amanda to stop, saying, "No, please don't hurt them." And the entity, in response, kind of just perches in the corner and just glares, like stomping its foot. We're not exactly sure what is up with this, but again, it seems to be connected to Amanda and her emotions. And then we have Hamlin. Like I mentioned, there are spoilers here. On the surface level, Hamlin is an entertainment company that is geared towards kids, kind of like Fazbear Entertainment or Playtime Co. But it turns out that Hamlin is a cult that has been active since the medieval times and, for whatever reason, has been working to summon demons. Rebecca Colton was one of its victims. In the corner here, you can see her passed out in a bed that seems to be monitoring her transformation into Amanda. We're not exactly sure what their goals are, but they are willing to kill, kidnap, and steal in order to get what they want. And now we're going to go over a timeline of what we know about the game and the game's events. So again, spoilers ahead. It starts off with Rebecca Colton, the little girl in the top picture. Sam Colton, the guy in the bottom, adopted Rebecca and in 1999 started a live action show inspired by and starring her. There was mentions in some of the lore tapes that Rebecca possibly came from an abusive household, and we're not exactly sure how old she is. The wiki mentions her birth date to be possibly 1996 to 1997, meaning that she was about 2 or 3 when Sam adopted her, and when the show started, but we're not exactly sure because the wiki is maintained by fans, so it's not an exact source. Amanda the Adventurer became a hit with the promotion of the Kensdale Public Library, thanks to the promotion by librarian Kate Park. Over time, the show grew more popular and got really popular in Kensdale, Ohio, which is the town that we're set in. In 2000, Hamlin Entertainment approached Sam about making the show into a cartoon. Sam agreed, and Rebecca started voice acting Amanda. The show created a cartoony style and introduced the character of Wooly. Over time, Sam got concerned about what this group wanted from him and Rebecca, and in one of the lore tapes, he asks them to stop because Rebecca is getting freaked out while doing some training that is actually like saying the names of demons. She is getting concerned because she is hearing a man in her headphones, and Sam asks them to stop. It grew to a point that in 2001, Sam got kidnapped by Hamlin. 3 weeks later, he was reported missing, and Rebecca was taken in by Hamlin. Her public appearances were canceled, and her last known appearance as Rebecca was on March 8th, 2002. One of the lore tapes has a security recording of her signing a contract with a man in a suit and a scientist, and after she signs it, the scientist takes her away. From the 2000s to the 2010s, children began going missing while watching Amanda the Adventurer. They supposedly disappeared into thin air, including a girl named Lauren and Jordan Cook. This was around the same time that the show was getting concerns from parents about Amanda saying and doing weird things. Kate Park started investigating Hamlin. Her investigation introduced her to Joanne Cook, Jordan Cook's sister, as well as other researchers. Over time, she started watching the tapes, and Amanda began communicating with Kate, who realized what had happened to Rebecca. Apparently, sigils were seen on the show, and the group discovered that Hamlin was a cult that had been active since the Middle Ages. And then we get to the year of the game, 2023. This is shortly before the game starts. Over the years, as I mentioned, Hamlin started making the researchers mysteriously die or go missing. Kate, believing that she was next, bequeathed her house to Riley and left a letter asking Riley to check the attic where the tapes were located. Joanne had a different idea. She had been told by somebody, presumably Hamlin, that in order to free Jordan, she would need to destroy the tapes. When she confronted Kate about this, the entity attacked them. Joanne pushed Kate out of the house, and Kate, believing that Joanne had died because of her, recorded a frantic message to Riley asking them to ignore her letter and pretend that the tapes didn't exist before dying in what sounded like a car crash. Now we get to game 1. We begin in Kate's attic, and there are 5 main tapes. In the kitchen, where you help Amanda and Wooly make an apple pie. In your neighborhood, where Amanda sends cookies and a card to Kate. Oh no, accidents. A tape that begins with Wooly warning us to stay away from the tapes before Amanda cuts open his knee. Everything Rots, which can trigger one of 2 endings, discussing with Amanda and Wooly discussing how things rot when they die. What's a Family concerns Amanda and Wooly taking a visit to a farm. And there is a section with a lonely kitten that is meant to symbolize Rebecca. And when Amanda asks if we would help the lonely kitten, she gets distraught if we say no. But if we say yes, she gets this big grin. We Can Share is like one of the last tapes. It has Amanda alone and can trigger one of 2 endings. If we say yes, that we can share secrets, Amanda admits that she's out there somewhere. This is similar to a scene in Everything Rots, where she admits that sometimes she feels like she's rotting, but it feels far away, suggesting that Rebecca and Amanda are still connected, that Rebecca might still be alive, but in a state of rotting. There's also 6 lore tapes. Security footage, which contains the scene of Rebecca signing her contract. News reports, a news report about Sam going missing. Public access interview, which is basically a interview with Sam discussing Amanda the Adventurer. And recording booth, which is the scene with the man in the headphones. There are 5 endings marked with a sticker in the TV in the menu, which you can see in our picture. One of these endings is the entity attacking us and killing us. The next ending is the butcher ending, which for context, there is a butcher or meat man that Amanda is really freaked out by. If we get that ending, the attic door opens, and when we go through it, we are transported to the cartoon, becoming one of the living racks of meat hanging up in the shop. The next ending is what happens if we say no to Amanda sharing her secret. Everything in the attic disappears, and she just leaves a note saying, "I thought you were different." The last two can start if we survive the night. One of them is we survive the night. The next one, the true ending, has a mysterious masked figure bursting through. And this can happen if we say yes to sharing the secret. Amanda triggers something happening in the TV that causes to freak out, and we throw a brick through it. Game 2 takes place right after 1, and it takes place at the Kensdale Public Library. It introduces the possum, who is possibly Jordan, and the mysterious masked figure is revealed to be Joanne Cook. This time there are 8 main tapes. Let's Plan a Trip, which is a math-based episode discussing Amanda needing coins for a magic train ride. Good Night, which is Amanda preparing for bed, and also reveals that she is scared of the dark, so we need to find her a nightlight. Let's Start the Day is Amanda getting ready for her day. Let's Practice Patience introduces Wooly again, and is the episode that contains those 3 scenes that I mentioned earlier. One where Amanda straight up attacks him, one where Amanda says, "I don't want you here," and where Amanda just has to go along with it. Basically, they need to build a birdhouse. Let's Hunt for Treasure is a treasure hunt episode. That can trigger the entity possibly attacking us when Amanda gets frustrated that there's no actual treasure. When You're Feeling Bad is the episode with the storybook tales. Amanda is feeling really depressed, and Wooly tries to cheer her up with a story. We Can Fix It is a broken tape that you repair with some bandages, and is basically a glitching episode talking about how you can fix anything. And it involves tearing open a frog to get the various parts that Amanda needs to fix various things. You Feel Safe is the last tape, and it discusses if you feel safe around people or areas. This tape involves the possum getting choked out and possibly dying. And if you do it right, you lose Amanda's trust. She's been building up this trust for you, and you lose it because you don't get the possum away fast enough. There are 5 lore tapes and 1 recording. The Quote Research Meetings discusses the meetings that Kate has with other researchers discussing Hamlin. Sam's message to Rebecca takes place after his kidnapping, where he is forced to record a reassuring message to Rebecca saying that she's all right, that she just trusts the people, that everything will be okay. He refuses to do so. Sam's library visit is the visit to the library from a Hamlin employee to talk about getting Amanda the Adventurer started as a show. Rebecca's room is a simple hospital visit from a mysterious recorder showing Rebecca, passed out in the bed with scientists monitoring her brainwaves. The recording is Aunt Kate's death, and this seems to be the trigger for the 2 endings. If you listen to it, Joanne admits that she was wrong to try and destroy the tapes. This is when another entity attacks her and kills her, with the credits rolling and you listening to the sounds of her flesh ripping apart. In the bad ending, or like the not true ending, Joanne starts breaking the tapes, only for Amanda's entity to fall through the ceiling and attack her. She does not die, as far as we know, she's just knocked out. But either way, we run into the secret passage and head down this mysterious ladder, which leads us into game 3. Now, we don't know much about it so far. As far as we know, the location will be Hanlon's abandoned faculty. What we do know is that Amanda has lost trust in you, and that there is now a second entity willing to kill you over these tapes. And so far, this is what we know about Amanda the Adventurer so far. If I made any mistakes or any slip-ups, please let me know in the comments. Please be nice to me in the comments. And I hope you have a good day.